What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's Timothy Williams Jr. I'm not sure if you've heard or not, but cash is no longer king. It's time to evolve your way of thinking because having a poor credit score is super outdated and no longer an option. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to increase your credit score coming into 2022. And the best part about it is you don't have to pay me hundreds of dollars like these so-called gurus. I'm going to show you guys how I was able to grow my credit score from the low 600s to nearly 800 in just a few years. I understand credit scares a lot of people, and to be honest, it scared me as well. But when you're aware and you understand credit and you're in good standing, there are so many good perks to having good credit. I'm going to be sharing my personal experiences as well as my knowledge so you guys can also go to the dealership with no money down, get higher credit card limits, and not have to worry about getting denied. So if you stick to the end of this video, you can learn all of my strategies so you can save your cash and leverage your credit. Your credit score can range anywhere from 300 all the way up to 850. An 850 credit score can take 10, 20, or even 30 years. And honestly, having an 850 credit score is more so bragging rights. As long as your credit score is 750 and above, you're going to get the best interest rates possible. The goal for this video is to maximize your credit score so you can enjoy all the perks. But the most important thing to increase your credit score right now is to push that like button. So when looking at this chart from Forbes for 2019 and 2020, it's going to show you the age group and where you should be for your credit score. So if you look between 18 and 23 years old, for 2020, you should have been at about a 674. And as you notice, the older you get, the higher credit score goes. So me personally, going through the journey and learning the things I did about my credit and increasing my credit score, I now have the credit score of normally a 75-year-old. I'm above 750 and I'm enjoying the perks of having good credit. So follow the steps in this video so your credit score can be higher than the people that are normally in your age group. Knowing your credit report is only half the battle. You need to go on annualcreditreport.com and get all 3 credit bureaus printed out, and you need to check for errors. About 25% of all Americans have errors on their credit report, whether that be fraudulent, duplicate accounts, or misreported payments. So go through and do a thorough check on all 3 credit bureaus and make sure you don't have any error. Then, like I mentioned in my video on how to get hard increase removed from your credit report, your FICO credit report is based off of 5 key factors. Understanding these 5 key factors is going to be able to maximize your credit report, because one of these 5 things could be altering your credit report and holding you back from boosting your credit report as high as possible. So understanding these 5 credit factors are very important. You have payment history, credit usage, length of credit history, credit mix, and new credit. Your payment history is the most important. It makes up 35%. So what you need to do is set reminders. If you have a payment that comes out on the 1st of every month, set a reminder a week before so you don't miss that payment or you don't have a late payment. Or even better yet, if you have the means to do so, set your bills on autopay. When you set your bills on autopay, majority of the time you get discounts for doing so. So that's just a win-win scenario. Next, you have credit usage, which makes up 30%. Pay down your credit cards to keep your utilization 30% or below. Ideally, it's best to have your utilization between 1 to 10%. That's the sweet spot. So just make sure you're not overextending your credit usage and you're staying below that 30%. Next, you have length of credit history, which makes up 15%. Make sure to keep using your older credit cards to keep active accounts. The average length of credit history for someone with an 850 credit score is about 30 years. So be sure to keep those old credit cards and use them for small things such as gas or little things around the house. The longer you have credit history, the stronger your credit report is. Next, you have credit mix, which makes up of 10%. Make sure you have a mixture of credit, whether it be loans or credit cards. Lastly, you have new credit, which also makes up of 10%. Make sure to apply for new credit. Ideally, you want only 2 hard inquiries, which means 2 new lines of credit in the last 12 to 8 months. So now that we went through the basics on understanding your credit report as well as your credit score, now it's time for the 4 steps to increase your credit score in 2022. Number 1 is to stay up to date with your credit report. It sounds very simple and it's very silly, honestly, but it's important because a lot of people are scared of those derogatory remarks or scared of those errors that they have on their credit report. So staying up to date with your credit report allows you to understand your credit report and where you need to work on things. Number 2 is to pay down credit balances. What this does is lowers your utilization. Remember, 30% of your credit report is based off of credit usage. What you need to do is stay below 30% of your utilization, and honestly, the sweet spot is stay between 1 to 10% if you can. Number 3 is to increase your credit limit. This does the same thing as far as lowers your utilization, as long as you're not maxing out these credit cards and you're staying above that 30%. There are two different ways where you can increase your credit limit. The first way to increase your credit limit, which will not affect your credit score because it's going to be a soft increase, is to ask for an increase on your credit card. The second way is to apply for a new credit card. This will drop your credit score a few points, but it's good for you in the long run because you're lowering your utilization as long as you're not maxing out your credit card. So one thing to note is if your credit line increases, then that means you have more money to spend. But don't just go crazy. So let's say you have a balance of $100 on your credit card and your max limit is $1,000. And then you ask for an increase. Now your limit is $2,000. You have more money to spend because your utilization dropped. Just because you have more money to spend doesn't mean you should go crazy. Now you can use 200 instead of that 100 and have the same utilization. So just be responsible and don't go over that 30%. Number 4 is to get negative, hard increase, or late payments removed. A lot of people are affected by this. Personally, I was affected by this as well. I had a doctor bill that was on my credit report, and I paid some gurus to get those removed. They never got them removed. I eventually got that removed. So what you can do is to call the original debt collector that you owe and try to make payments to them to get that removed. After you're paid in full, be sure to call each credit bureau to get those removed, because a lot of times after you pay them off, they won't remove from your credit report and it still affects your credit score. Also, to get hard increase removed, I do have a video on my channel. Link will be down below on how to get those hard increase removed. Lastly, to get those late payments removed, let's say you have a late payment for your credit card. What you can do is call that credit card company and let them know, hey, I made on-time payments every other time. I made a mistake this one time and I made a late payment. Would you guys be kind enough to get that removed because it's affecting my credit score? Sometimes they will remove it, oftentimes they won't. It only affects your credit report for up to 7 years, so just be sure to set reminders next time. Some other great ways to increase your credit score is to get a secured credit card. It's a credit card that's backed up by a cash deposit. So let's say you have $500 cash, you put that down for your credit card, and now you have a $500 spending limit for that secured credit card. After 3 to 6 months of responsibly spending and paying that credit card back, that credit card will now become unsecured. You'll get your $500 back and your credit score will increase. Another great way to increase your credit score is Experian Boost. It's a new way to get credit for paying your streaming services, your phone bill, as well as your utility bills. It's a free way and it's a great option to increase your credit score. And then also you can get credit for paying your rent. You can get credit for doing something you're already doing, which is paying your rent. And then last but not least, if you have a thin credit report, you can be added as an authorized user. When getting added as an authorized user, be sure to use someone who's on top of their things. If they're not doing what they're supposed to, they can affect your credit report. So be sure to use someone who's adding to you and not taking away from you. If you enjoyed this video and you're excited about 2022, just like I am, leave a comment below. Let me know all of your goals for 2022. Let me know your credit score, what you plan to do for this new year. Any questions, comments, concerns, just leave them below. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you guys so much.